Good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon. So I'm here to talk to you about a new £83 million space tech venture fund that I'm launching around Christmas time. So before I go into the detail, tell you a little bit about myself. I've spent my entire career as a technology investor. I'm the founder and managing director of Seraphim Capital. And between myself and my team, we've invested into 189 technology businesses. Across all of those businesses, where at least a third of them failed, we made a 2.2x return across absolutely everything that we've done. So we have traditionally invested in generalist technology, but we're now focusing this next fund exclusively on the space sector. So space is a global business. And last year, globally, there were 22 companies that were backed by venture in the space market. In the first half of this year, there's 23 businesses that have been backed by venture capital. So it seems that now is the time for private capital to be coming into the space market. So here's a little bit about the fund. So in red at the top there, for those who can see it, is our investment policy. So we're targeting technologies already addressing, originally derived from, or for the potential benefit of the space sector. I'll go into more detail on that in a minute. An £83 million fund, and we're looking to invest into around 20 businesses over a 5-year period. So we're going to be very focused about what we invest into, investing into a new business each quarter. So this stage that we invest at is post-seed, but pre-profit. So in venture industry terms, that's the A round. So the technologies that we're investing into will typically be fully developed, they'll have a customer or two, and will have clearly passed some technical milestones before we engage. We typically invest around 2 million, but up to 5 million in our initial round, and then we'll follow these businesses through on subsequent rounds, investing up to £12 million in a single company. The idea being that out of a portfolio of around 20, there'll be 6 or 7 companies that grow to become significant businesses, and those are the businesses that we'll invest most of the money into. So we're not just investors, we're business builders. We join the boards of the companies that we're engaged with and are very proactively involved with growing the businesses, hiring the right people, and working with the management to make their businesses a success. We're extremely centric on bringing in expertise into these businesses through non-exec chairmen or non-execs onto the board. And we've had considerable success doing that, and we'll bring non-execs in for a project or for a period of time so that they can add some value to the business. Our typical period that we invest is a long time, so 5 to 7 years is the typical hold. So we are patient capital. So these are the areas that we're looking to invest in. So the thesis of the fund is that there is an opportunity investing in space application where you're fusing terrestrial technology. So in upstream, which is the sort of hardware end of space, we're interested in things like sensors, RF technology, applying new materials. Downstream, the software orientated element of space, taking data from satellites, applying artificial intelligence, data analytics. There's a huge area of opportunity for venture-backed businesses in this area. And then more broadly speaking, the space enabling ecosystem. So this is any type of technology that can have a benefit for the space sector. So this could be things like robotics or artificial intelligence. We'll invest into any technology that's also spun out of the space sector, so developed specifically for space, but being applied to terrestrial type markets. But one of the ways that we are looking to reduce the risk of investing into the space market is by having 7 major backers from the space industry. So these parties are investing around a third of the private capital in the fund. The CEOs of each of those organisations is joining our board, and the idea is that as we go out and identify businesses, they can help us do due diligence, and they can help us make sure that we're making the right investment decisions in the businesses that we're investing into. One of the things that we're going to do once we launch the fund is we're going to speak with each of these organisations and try and understand what their long-term investment themes are. What are they looking out over the next 10 years? Where do they see the opportunities and the requirements in their market? We'll collect all of those long-term themes, and then we'll create those themes as a backdrop to the fund. So we'll identify the themes that are relevant to an £80 million venture fund, and then proactively go out and try and find the technologies that fit into those themes. And as we find them, we'll go back to these space corporates who will then help us with due diligence, help us introduce to people within their organisation, become customers, become partners, and potentially even acquirers of the business. So we'll invest into the first round of the businesses, and then we'll open up investment opportunity to our backers, including the space corporates, to help us invest in subsequent rounds within these businesses. So we're bringing our own capital, the expertise of these larger organisations, but also their capital as well. To complement the backing of the space corporates, we also have significant governmental backing. So we have a unique strategic agreement with the European Space Agency, so that we're engaged with their ARTES programme, directly engaged with all of their incubators across Europe, so that we can identify the best opportunities that are coming through their incubators and then fund those businesses. So Amnon Giannatti from ESA is joining our board to make sure that we are well plugged into ESA, so that we can help fund the best of the businesses going through their incubators. In the UK, we are working with the Satellite Catapult and with their incubator activity. Stuart Martin from the Catapult is joining our board. We've also seconded a member of staff that's going to be based down at Harwell, so that we've got somebody on the ground from the team that's really baked into the whole ecosystem down there in Harwell. The actual fund itself is based in Old Street, in the tech city of London, so that we've got a great access to all of the London-based entrepreneurs. We also work very closely with the UK Space Agency, and in particular with their teams that are looking to bring overseas businesses to the UK, where they're prepared to invest into them, we'll invest alongside them. So that's the Seraphim Space Fund. We're launching around Christmas time, and I'd be delighted to speak to anyone who has fundraising needs in the new year. Thank you.